Hello Play the Games, it's Boobity2 here and welcome back to Play the Game Central, and today we're going to be going through the intro sequence of Buried, and I am with Chalak. Say hi.
Hello.
There he is, and the first thing that we're going to be looking at is this teddy bear which you can find near the beginning of the thing, which I didn't actually find. I think it was either you or Charlie that found it, I'm not sure who it was. But it does look really like a strange design teddy bear. It's not the ones which we're used to in the actual game. And I couldn't even see it, to be honest. I couldn't see it to begin with, but it's just like the white bit at the top is like the inside of the ear, the white bit to the left is the end of the hand, and the white bit right at the bottom is the belly, and it just looked really hard to actually see. But we actually turned the exposure up so you can actually see that.
I don't suppose it'll be looking too good after a plane crash anyway. I expect this probably came from external people anyway, so... Next we see a shot of a city and some police on top of a turned over truck fighting off some zombies and some guy with like a shotgun or something. I can't quite see. But it's interesting to see some people other than just the survivors that we play as. We rarely get to see anybody else or how the rest of the world is doing, so it's always good when they put in these little bits of story so we actually know that, you know, the world is affected by zombies and it's not just all of these little areas that we go to all of the time. And it does look like one of the multiplayer maps as well, like Aftermath or something like that. But it's cool to actually see some different locations, even though we don't play at them.
Makes it a bit more global and just more understanding that it is everything happening rather than just these four people doing Easter eggs.
And next we hear about Russman's involvement in Broken Arrow. Now, Broken Arrow is the accidental detonation of nuclear weapons or warheads or compounds. I don't think it necessarily has to be nuclear, but something that doesn't risk war or starts a war and is accidental. Now, this could mean the moon rockets, but because in this shot the world looks like it's all fine, it must be something before that. Also, Russman is forgetting a lot. He's losing his memory. This could just be because he's getting old, but at the same time there's lots of stories. If you look into the old like stuff from World War with the Nazis working on stuff like the Bell, the scientists would lose their memory when working with some of the strange elements, so he may have been involved in this and simply is losing his memory because of what he was working with, and maybe all of the other people working with him on the operation were also losing their memory simply because of the nature of their work and working with stuff that they don't know about. I'm guessing this is something before, something that may have caused the outbreak of zombies and not not the moon rockets, because obviously in the picture the world looks fine.
It's just the way that it's phrased, that he's a former operative for Broken Arrow. That doesn't make sense at all, because there's nothing about Broken Arrow as like an organisation or something, so that's just really strange. And it is, I think that something that Ben said a while ago is that it's just really weird that Russman in transit is a moron, and then now in his last map they've just thrust all kinds of like character development, and it just doesn't really suit his character, to be honest. But in this next thing that we have, it's a Malton and Misty in town, and pretty much what's happened is that Russman and Stuhlinger went to transit and then they found these two, but it doesn't really make sense because in Nuketown, that's what most people thought, that's where Malton came from, because you can hear him in the bunker, then you can hear the bus noise at round 5, or around 4, 5, 6, I don't know exactly when it is. But, you know, it just seems really weird that they weren't on the bus at all, and the original idea was that Malton got on the bus at Nuketown, then went all the way up to the Green Run area, and then found the others. But it's just, this is clearly town in transit, as you can see. It's like just those buildings, it's not Nuketown, which so I guess pretty much Nuketown is out of the question, I guess.
I think it's more they put those references in for a time frame, so we know when transit happened. I think he probably worked at the facility near town, which you can...
Yeah, the Harp Research Centre was what most people think that Malton worked in, because obviously he is extremely intelligent, and the Harp Research Centre in transit was very...
he does talk about his lab as well, which he used to have. So I'm guessing he just worked there, and the references in Nuketown are just for a time frame, and when you knife the bunker, you just hear him in his laboratory rather than in that actual bunker.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's other things as well, just about the general style of this thing. I think that it was the same artist that did the diary thing. It's definitely in the same style, but it's a lot cleaner, and it is just very much just a lot better now. Because you just look at this and you look at the diarise one, and diarise just look really sketchy and horrible, but now they've really improved on it, and
Must have had more time or something.
yeah, because diarise was actually quite rushed, whereas Buried had quite a lot of time to do. But another thing as well is just like the character progression as well, which is the main thing to actually look into. And you know, Russman has had so much of a just a boost in his character development just from this one map, and no one else particularly has one, although they do have better quotes and stuff like that. Misty as well, I guess, on the televisions on Transit when she's like, I think it's supposed to be her. I'm not sure if it's Transit or Diarise, but either one. She has had some development. Marlton hasn't really had much development at all. He's kind of just an annoying character, like when he starts talking about when he gets a perma perk, when he won't shut up with affect and effect. And Stuhlinger obviously is just one of the best characters just because he's the main character, I guess, out of the whole group. But it's just really weird to see Russman turn into kind of like a leadership role, which just doesn't really fit him all that much. But this is the last map that you'll see them in, so that's all you'll have about that. So that's pretty much everything that there needs to be talked about on this intro sequence. There is a lot of new stuff, I guess. Some of it doesn't really make sense and doesn't really fit, but what can you do? So this has been the intro sequence. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and if you did, then leave a like. And if they are going to dislike the video, Chris, what can you tell them that's going to happen to them if they dislike the video?
I'll go back in time and kill you before you were born.
How are you going to do that? If they're not born, they can't... We've had this conversation about God before. They can't. You can't kill them if they're not born.
This is why I brought it up, because I knew it would get on your nerves.
Right, I'm done.